Back then, we had no clue. There was no way of us knowing if anybody was going to come. I mean, we're setting up at the day of the party, and we still don't know if people are going to come.
Yeah.
Do you like that surprise though?
I mean, it was hectic. I mean, because we don't
and
know.
Because it's a whole day thing. You know what I mean? You're there early. You're setting up equipment. You're setting up, visuals. You're everything. You know, you're making
the lights.
Yeah. You know, you're doing everything for the party, and then time comes for the event to start. You're like,
I just
people gotta come. And little, for of course all your family and friends come first. So you're like, all right, go.
And those are the non-paying people.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Those are the people
those
that
are
don't
just to make it look
right?
like,
just to make it look like there's people there.
And then like next thing you know is like quarter full.
You just start seeing
and
people
then people coming downtown. There's a line. We got a line, and we're like, all right, dude, it's cracking.
We got a line,
and at the same time.
So welcome back to the podcast. Today we have two very special guests. The Bay Area is home to some of the greatest artists in electronic music. Many have started their careers there, and he is no exception. Always armed with a big smile and a hearty laugh, this San Jose-based artist has learned to channel his good vibe mentality into infectious house music. A DJ since the mid-90s, he's paid his dues spinning everything from high energy to hip-hop at house parties, school dances, and clubs. He's been heavily influenced by the funky grooves of 70s disco and R&B. His extensive mobile DJ and club experience has given him a keen sense of what will get the party people moving, and according to J-Funk, that's what it's all about. Our next guest is representing Funklab crew. He's a San Jose native that has been in the DJ scene for well over 20 plus years. Throughout his career, he's also been a promoter, an MC, and a mobile DJ. He started off DJing with all his friends that lived in the same neighborhood. Then he branched off to mixing at house parties, dances, community events, Bay Area bars, clubs, and raves. The biggest event he spun was Metropolis in San Jose at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds, which held over 20,000 plus party goers. DJ Tempo's favorite music to spin is funky, disco, vocal house. But over the years, he's transitioned to playing all genres, like hip-hop, R&B, old school, and freestyle, which have given him more opportunities to move the crowd and get the people on the dance floor doing what he does best. Please welcome to the podcast, J-Funk and DJ Tempo.
Yeah.
Beautiful intro. Welcome, guys.
I did it. Yeah, well, welcome, guys, man. It's good to have you. And I guess we're all wearing our Funklab gear here.
Thank you.
Sure.
I love this shirt.
Got the swag.
Love
Got the
the
swag
colors.
on.
Yeah. You guys did actually a really good job because I like to wear white a lot and she likes to wear darker colors, so it was kind of perfect.
Yeah.
But we were talking earlier, right? When you kind of throw something out there, the universe kind of makes everything happen.
Exactly. And these were like the only shirts that we were like, I think these will fit them. This is all we got. So
Actually,
perfect.
And actually, the shirt you got on is like exclusive, like the one and only. It was actually like a tester for us.
Really?
Yeah. My boy's like, I could do the baseball tee, and we're like, let's try it. You know what I mean? So
you got a one of one. There you go. Right? Collector edition.
The one of one, right? But anyways, so thank you guys for being here. And we always start the podcast with kind of getting to know you guys about how you grew up, your background. Because we feel like when people get to know you, they'll connect with you better. So, you guys, like you guys both grew up in San Jose?
Yeah, I'm the friends that it says in the intro.
Yeah. We all lived literally like around the block from each other.
Really?
So,
I could see his house from my house. Like
there's like a court.
There's like a court behind my house, and his house is right behind
at the end of the court.
Oh wow!
So I could just peek my head over the fence.
There actually was a fence, before.
Oh yeah, before
so
there used to be a
neighbors.
fence.
Okay,
and
they could go to the
we
back.
made a gate.
Yeah,
because we were that good friends with our neighbors back in the day.
Oh, really?
So we would just walk all the way through, just all the way through.
That's pretty cool, right? Yeah. Like, hey, like a little gateway, right?
Yep.
Which part of San Jose?
South San Jose. I guess some people call it East San Jose now, but it's south.
It's literally Southside Drive right there.
Yeah, we live off Southside Drive.
So probably like the beginning of Southside right there.
Capitol and Center.
Yeah. Okay.
Center.
So right when the South Side starts.
Right. I guess back in the day that was where it was, but now it went all the way to Morgan Hill. The South Side goes all the way down that way.
Yeah, the Bay Area, San Jose, has definitely changed a lot since we grew up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you guys are childhood friends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet?
What was it, in the 7th grade, 8th grade? I think I was like a grade older than this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in 7th and you were in 8th.
Yeah, so I was already at the junior high, and then when this guy got there, he was kind of just chilling, and I go, "Hey, what's up, bro? Come hang out over here."
Yeah.
I mean, we knew each other from the neighborhood, but
Yeah.
we never really like hung out, you know. Just so once we seen each other at school, we're like, "Dude, what's up?" You know, and
We just clicked up since
from
that
It was
day.
like
yeah.
an instant connection.
Yeah.
I mean, because we already knew each other because we had mutual friends, but like the way we grew up, like on that side of the neighborhood, these guys were all jocks.
yeah, we were playing
And they
football,
played football, baseball, and all that. And I was the nerd, like, you know,
You were the
comics and,
Yeah.
you know, watching Star Wars and all that stuff, you know, but it worked out.
Yeah. It's funny because like you say that's like quote unquote nerd in high school, but it's a creative, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like anybody has a big imagination is into like, you know, like comics or fantasy or sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
You guys
All
just had
that
all this
stuff.
creativity, man. You know what I mean? You just didn't have anything to channel it into. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, no, we really didn't because over there in that area was mostly gang.
Yeah.
So we really couldn't go outside because, you know, there was gangs out there. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
our
mean,
parents
it
were
was
like, hey, come inside.
houses away from us, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah, don't go down that way because on the other side over there, there's gangs over there.
I forgot who put it. A comedian. It's like the kids just have to be hopping in a circle in the front yard. You can't go here, you can't go here. You just hopping in a circle in the front yard, right?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how it was.
So you go to 7th grade. You guys link up. Like, what happens after that?
I mean, we link up, but it's like we already like knew each other from the neighborhood. Like, you know, we had another boy that was already doing the DJ thing, you know, but it was like with some like realistic turntables, or
Right. It was the belt drive.
like I don't even think it had
It didn't
like
have
a
no
pinch
pitch
control.
control.
or nothing.
No, nothing. Yeah.
So I mean, we all knew him, so
Yeah.
we would all like go to his house.
He was the guy he was the only guy in the neighborhood that had like a DJ set.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we used to take our records, you know, because back then we used to actually
Yeah.
buy records, you know, at the
You
record
used to have
store.
to actually
you
know how to DJ. Yeah.
Well, no, not only that, but I'm saying like records to listen to.
Yeah.
You know, like we would buy records at Gemco and
Star
Music
Records.
Land, Star Records,
Yeah.
and I had my own little crate even before I was a DJ, just my own personal music that I would listen to on my home stereo.
Oh wow, that's
You know,
interesting.
like with we had like the big turntable with the big receiver,
cassette.
it had the layers, you know, it had like the big speakers, you know.
I remember those. Yeah. I think
We used to get in trouble. My pops would be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? You're gonna break my needles." You know?
so that's interesting though. I have a question because you guys were young kids, right? And you know,
Right.
back then it was cassette tapes, right?
Right.
What made you guys get into records? Like, what was it about records? Were you always into records, or?
Well, like for me too, like you know, my parents have always been like a big record collector too. So it's
okay.
like, you know, all their vinyl. You know, that my pops has always collected vinyl. So, like, he got rows. You know what I mean? Of just
Rows,
records. You
bro,
know,
records.
and then not only that, like he used to collect 8-tracks and reel to reel.
He
you know
still
what
got
I mean?
all that
Yeah,
stuff,
he still
too.
has all that.
Wow.
You know, and he's always like trying to put his input in, like, "Hey, mix this in for us," and we're like, "That won't go, bro." But you know, I think that's where like my like getting into the music background, you know, came from my parents. You know, I would come home. You know, my parents would be having their little party, you know, with their friends, dancing in the living room, and they're doing the same thing, just putting vinyl on and just letting it play, you know.
Yeah.
And we'd come home, you know, from playing outside or whatever, and they're just dancing in the living room. And, you know, that's how, I mean, you know, pretty much how, like, you know, we got our start to seeing what vinyl was and all that. My dad used to go to the flea market, like, "Hey, I'm going to go look for vinyl, you know. Look what I found this week," you know, and I didn't know nothing about it back then. But
We thought that was like dumb music. It was always like 70s classic rock and like all this weird stuff, Beatles, and we're like, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah.
That's old people music.
Yeah.
Now we're like, "Hey, you gonna leave us that collection?" He's like, "Hell no, cabrón, I'm taking it with me."
Take it with you where? You know? It's gonna be like the Narcos and build a big ass with all the records.
So it was like the 70s rock music being played in your household?
Yeah, it was a lot of '70s rock, a lot of old school
oldies.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of Mexican music
Yeah.
like cumbias and
I love
you know,
cumbia.
Yeah,
cumbia
all
music.
that stuff. You know.
Yeah, I know what you guys are talking about, not with records, but you're talking about the big it's not a Mexican, but the big stereo system.
Right.
Yeah.
So our family would have karaoke, and obviously
Okay.
nobody knows how to sing, so it would be like karaoke on that big old stereo system, and
Yeah.
all the uncles getting drunk and just singing horribly. So I kind of know what it's
That's
like,
exactly
right?
what it is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly how it was.
Or my dad would be playing like Radio Romantica on there or whatever. So
Mhm.
cool. So basically, from you, it came from your dad
Yeah,
having
from
the
my parents.
records.
Yeah.
What about you, J Funk?
The same thing, you
Yeah.
know, just that dynamic of younger parents, and then they would have their little parties with all our uncles and
Okay.
the neighbors, because like I said,
Yeah.
these guys were not right there. So, and we had that hole in the fence or whatever,
Yeah.
the
little
gate
door,
in the
yeah.
fence. So it'd be like, hey, come through, and everybody would just kind of come to either my backyard or we go to his house, and
Oh,
we were
wow.
just kind of always going
Yeah.
back and forth,
Yeah.
you know, with our families. Like, I mean, his mom and his dad are like really good friends with my mom and dad, so it's kind of like a no-brainer.
That's pretty cool though, because you don't see. I mean, at least, that's rare. I don't know if it's rare or not, but I don't see it too often where two guys grew up together, are still homies. Like, what is it? How long has it been now?
Oh God, jeez. So
Over
over
25
30,
yeah,
30
30
years
years.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
92. I mean, we already knew each other before that, but 92, 91 was like when we were in junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from then till now, I mean, we've never really stopped hanging out or
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
Awesome.
good 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really awesome if you think about it, because you guys are building Funklab, right? And we're going to get into that, right?
Right.
But you're doing that with basically your best friend, someone you grew
Yeah.
up with, someone you've known for 30 years,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And it's something special about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no problem. And so you're getting into records. You go to your homie's house. Like, what happens next? This homie that has those turntables.
Oh, our homie Chico, big up Chico, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing. His mom was like, this is before like now where they're pickers, you know. So she would buy stuff from people, go
like
to
big old lots.
big lots of stuff, and in one of those lots there was a DJ set.
Oh, wow.
Right, it was a full blown DJ set, turntables, mixer, but it was like cheap stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you know. And he took it.
Yeah.
He knew what it was. He was like, "Oh, hey, mom, I'm taking this." Ah. So like, at first he'd be kind of like, "Oh no, you guys can't touch it.
Yeah.
No. You guys can come over and hang out. We could spin records, but you guys can watch me. Nobody can touch it, you know, because you guys don't know what you're doing, you know." But we were always eager and and then he actually got a gig, one of the school dances that we got, and we all went with him, and he like left. I don't know, something happened where he left and the record was gonna finish,
Okay.
and I didn't even know what to do, and I said, I'm jumping on. And I just jumped on, I threw something on, and it came out like crap, bro. There was no mix. It was just
Yeah.
you know, train wreck, whatever they call it. And that was my first mix. That was
Yeah.
the introduction to DJing. And I remember all the people around me were like, "He's gonna do it! Oh, dude, he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, oh man, you know." These guys were like, "Oh man, all right, I'm doing it. I don't care," you know. I mean, and from there we just kind of used to buy like mixtapes at the flea market.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
2 for
DJ
$5.
Law.
Yeah, DJ Law. Yeah, exactly. DJ
Yeah,
Law
I
at the
used to-
Capitol Flea Market.
Capitol Flea Market, man. He had it on lock out there.
Yeah, he had it on lock, and so he would do mixes on there, and it was all hip hop. And he would do like a cut right before the mix, and then he would go. So then I was like, you know what? Let me try that.
Yeah.
So then I started doing it, but it wouldn't come out, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you got to speed it up. And I'm like, well, what's that? And they're like, that little thing that's on the side right there. And I'm like, oh, that's what it's for. Because we didn't know, you know. We were like, and then we finally got, you know, to match records, beat match, you know, actual beat matching.
Wow. How long do you think it took you till you can actually start getting records on beat and start actually putting in some good stuff?
Man, I don't even like remember
I
how it
remember.
happened, but you know, from him, like, because he didn't even have like turntables with like the pitch control, we went to my other buddy that literally lived like four houses down from him.
Yeah.
He actually bought a pair of Techniques, you know, and so that's when we like learned the whole pitch control, like you know, and from there we were mixing all hip hop, like hip hop.
Oh well, we were doing more high energy because we were into like the dance music side of,
and that was the time of high energy,
right? Yeah, it was like the mid '90s, the early '90s. So I mean, high energy was like king at that time.
Can you give an example? What type of music? I mean, what artists?
Artists
songs?
would be like Little Susie. Who else? Timmy T,
Judy
Stevie B.
Yeah. Oh, Stevie B. That I remember.
Stevie B. Yeah,
that I know.
Yeah, like those artists, and
like
a lot of those
freestyle
artists were San Jose based.
Yeah, Angelina.
Yeah, Angelina. Yeah, exactly.
I remember her.
Spanish
Spanish
Fly.
Fly.
Yeah, Days, all them, you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that big scene was like a big influence on us. The only thing, we weren't old enough to really party.
Right.
Because we were kids.
Yeah,
you know,
we were
we're only
still
like
15,
13, 14,
Wow.
15.
Yeah.
So, you know, our parents were pretty strict as far as, you know, letting us out.
Right, right. So you guys basically had a lot of years of practicing.
Oh, yeah. We were the bedroom DJs.
And like, I threw the party.
Oh, actually, and it's funny, though, because, like, now, you know, everyone's a bedroom DJ right now.
Right.
You know, because of the whole COVID thing. So it took us back to our roots, you know?
Yeah.
Turned everybody back into a bedroom DJ.
You know, and it's like, it's funny because, you know, people are trying to, you know, say that they're bigger than who. It's like everyone's the same right now, you know, no matter what, because we're all stuck, you know, with this whole COVID thing. So everyone's trying to do the whole Twitch thing, Instagram, Facebook, whatever they could do, you know, to stay out there, you know, and stay live and visual to everyone.
So that's a good point that you just mentioned. Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing, or it's kind of just neutral to the DJs?
Well, for me, I think it evened out the playing field. So even the biggest guy that was getting paid the most money, there's guys that are unknown that have more viewers than those guys.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the game right now.
Yeah, and I think that's great, to be honest, because like you said, it leveled the playing field, and you know, that's why I love today's world, virtual, YouTube, Twitch, stuff like that, because maybe back in the day when you guys were coming up, you needed to know somebody or get hooked up
or be out there, be out there promoting.
Yeah,
you know what
or
I mean?
be out there.
Yeah,
be
you
out
had
there,
to be grinding.
Lugging crates and grinding.
Oh yeah,
everything,
mixtapes,
bro.
CDs,
and that's like a big part of like the whole thing about Funklab is like we've always had to like be out there on our grind to like get places to play. You know what I mean? Like people knew us, but they just never would give us that opportunity and shine until we started doing our own parties. You know what I mean? Like we would go out and like, dude, we can do this ourselves. Like, why are we over here like trying to be out here to get seen when these guys know who we are and they wouldn't give us the opportunity, you know? But we would go support. We would go out to, you know, Cactus Club. I mean, there was a bunch of little venues that we would go hang out at and just try to get seen, passing out our CDs, tapes, or whatever, you know, we had to do, flyers, whatever. And, you know, that's when we were just like, dude, let's do this on our own.
Right.
You know?
So an adversity became a blessing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then you guys already built that hustle. So now that it's pretty much a wide open game, you guys already have the habits built. Like we already know how to hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now it's an even playing field.
The only thing is getting over that learning hump of the technology, because it's a new program. You got to buy, and you got to also invest in it too, because you got to buy cameras and you got to buy different things because stuff won't work if it's not plugged in properly.
That's and like for the whole like, you know, everything that we've been having to go through, I've bought like so many different things to try to give us like the best quality sound. And it's like,
because we don't want to do no janky sound.
you know.
You know, we want to present something that's like quality for the people.
Content is king in this world, right? So as long as you guys have good content, you guys will be okay. I would just give you like a little tip that someone gave me. If it was about of course, do quality, right? But if it was all about just the quality, wouldn't every movie be a blockbuster?
Oh yeah.
Because they all use the same equipment.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And
yeah.
it's all the top, most expensive, right?
Right.
But what's the difference between the great movies and the ones that don't do well?
Right.
It's the content. It's
right.
the movie.
It's the
The
movie
story.
itself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the story. It's
Yeah.
the actors
Yeah.
themselves. It's all of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you guys focus on putting good content out
Right,
there,
Yeah.
Right.
everything else will kind of follow,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like
That's
obviously
exactly
you can go back to our first episode and just see, but but I appreciate you taking action. Like it says right here, established 1993. That's pretty dope. you know
Yeah,
what I
it was a
mean?
long time ago.
Yeah.
We're
Hey.
coming up to almost 30 years, doing
Yeah.
this,
So hey, sometimes that's what it takes. But in this day and age of the virtual world, if you get something good out there, you guys could just explode and pop
Right.
like that.
And then that's all it is like, just that one time or whatever, and people will jump on it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why we've never really stopped our hustle, like we'll try stickers, we'll try pins, we'll try shirts. Like we actually just bought it's a vinyl cutter, so
Okay.
we can actually start making the shirts, because it's like, we've always went through someone to make them. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, we can just do it ourselves. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, so that's like right now our next step is like trying to get our own line going too with
Yeah.
Funklab and everything.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the actual machine? To
Yeah,
like
right.
Yeah,
Put
so-
the designs?
Yeah,
Yep.
the designs. So we will,
So we'll be able to make our own stickers,
and
our
everything.
own
Yeah.
everything.
Production.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All DIY in house, just
Yeah.
like how you were saying earlier. How,
Yeah. There's we can also talk off camera but there's a way where you can do it where they buy it and there's no cost. It's just whenever they buy it, they take a little cut and it gets shipped out.
Yeah,
too,
we've tried those ones. Too.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah,
So you
we
prefer this way?
Yeah, just for us, because we like to deliver our stuff too.
Like the personal touch.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah.
We like to go to people's houses, be like, hey, we're dropping off a shirt, or come to
Yeah,
the pad.
Yeah, right.
and that's what I
Like
mean.
that.
Like a lot of the people that like purchase our stuff and all that's like been fans with us, and supported us through like our whole hustle,
Yeah.
And it's like we'll come out with something new and they're like on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jay, hit them up. They got, I'll be at work. They're hitting me up. I'm like, hit them up, Jay. You got
Yeah.
time? Hit them up.
Yeah, we just,
So we're back and forth, just trying to keep it going.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
I definitely see you guys exploding, and I hope that we can help out. So hey, we'll leave all the information in the description below. By the way, make sure you subscribe. Make sure to smash the like button and hit that notification bell. Anyways, let's get back to it. So now you guys are bedroom DJs. You guys are
Bedroom
like
DJs.
fired up. And then now, what happened when you guys got old enough to actually go out there and
So
start partying?
actually, before all that, like, my parents were like cool, so we would throw parties at my house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
And we would have my sister's birthday, my birthday, so it was like it worked out because my sister was like the beginning of the year, and then I'm in the middle of the year, and then my
Okay.
little sister's at the end of the year. So we're like, cool, 3 parties
Yeah.
throughout the year,
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
So that we would actually do like a whole like inside the house we would have a DJ, and then in the garage we'd have like a DJ.
Oh, wow.
So we had like 2
rooms.
rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We basically had 2 rooms.
we were already
Yeah.
doing like the
Yeah.
whole thing that you do in the clubs, but we're doing it at houses.
Yeah.
Like that was our thing. So we're like, all right, you're booked for this time. Like we would have everyone
like
booked.
set times
Set
and everything.
times, come on,
That's
spin
awesome.
and
Can't stop, won't stop.
yeah,
Really.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's how we actually got started doing like the parties, and then it just kind of branched off from there.
Well, I think once we got to the point where, once we started DJing, we started also doing like the school dances, and then we would do the lunchtime.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
at
yeah.
school, we would.
Oh, they had music at lunchtime?
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the days,
That's
I
cool.
mean, it was
Yeah.
all good, right? In
Yeah.
high school, we would do
Our high school,
at our high school, our guidance counselors, they were all cool, and they were like,
That's
"Hey,
pretty
you
cool."
guys,
Yeah.
they would give us permission to take
Set
the
up.
class off, the class before,
Yeah.
the class after
Yeah.
lunch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys even got 2 classes off.
Yeah, we get 2
Yeah.
classes off. It'd be like credit and everything, bro. For volunteering things at
Yeah.
the school,
Yeah.
and it was free. Of course, we didn't get paid, but
Right.
it was more just to showcase what we're doing
Yeah.
and getting that exposure and getting used to DJing in front of people.
Yeah,
Right.
in front of
Because
a
we were
crowd.
already doing it for our family and
Right.
friends at the house, but then once you move over to like people that you don't know, now you get like people
Nervous.
judging you.
Yeah,
like,
I got the
nervous.
butterfly, like,
that guy sucks. You know, whatever. But you know, it's just.
How was it? How was the first time, like in front of strangers?
For me it was nerve wracking. I can remember like even the high school stuff that we did wasn't as crazy, but my very first official like gig in front of like a lot of people was actually at the fairgrounds too, but it was for a car show. And it was like one of those hookup things. Like my buddy was like, hey bro, I know the lady that's booking the DJs. You want to play? And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm down, you know. But I never played in front of a crowd like that before. But I just like, yeah, because I would always say yes, you know.
Yeah.
And
that's a tip right there.
And that day was crazy because it was like bands. Brenton Wood played. I don't know if you guys know who Brenton Wood is. He's like a big oldies singer.
Okay.
Very popular in
Very
San
famous
Jose.
oldies.
Very famous oldies.
So there was a crowd.
Oh, there was a big crowd, bro.
Okay.
It was like the big hall. It was like the
like,
car
whoa.
show.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of like
And
gangster
car shows were big back in San Jose.
gangster-
Back in
yeah,
the day.
Back in the day, bro. They were
Yeah.
big. So I played in between the bands.
Okay.
Like in one of the, and I think it was like right before Brenton Wood set. And I remember I was backstage and I was getting ready to go on. And he came back there and I was like, oh man, there's Brenton Wood, bro. And he goes, hey man, you know, kick out, you know, break a leg, you know, or whatever. He gave me like a
You're like,
encouragement, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. And I remember I was so nervous, but we got it done, and the people were dancing, and it just was just that first experience. Like, oh, I can do this. It's not as bad, you know.
You're like,
it's
I
that thing, you know.
die,
I didn't die. Yeah, exactly. I got through my first day.
But did you die?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it was, and yeah, I mean, that was my first gig as far as in front of like a big, large crowd. I mean, JoJo, what was your...
What about you?
Well, I mean, you know, like after doing like the high school things, but we eventually started getting booked for like dances and all that, and we were doing them, and we actually got banned from doing dances at Gunderson because we played like, I would think it was like
Freaks of the Industry.
No, it was like
it was just
back that ass up, and like all the kids were like freaking and everything, and our teachers are like, no, we're like, dude, they're gonna let us go anyways, just let it play, you know what I mean? So I mean, you know, doing those, you know, type of things, the dances and all that, are where I kind of like, you know, loosened up. But still, even then, you know, like doing other you know, from everything that you went to, you know, it was always a different experience, you know, because you're like in front of a crowd and you're like, you know, I gotta make them, you know, I gotta please them, you know what I mean? It's not about me, you know. You know, of course a lot of DJs want to play what they want, but it's more of like playing for the crowd, because you know, you want them to be happy and out there dancing, you know,
a good
grooving.
experience.
The other thing that we used to also do besides that was a lot of mobile gigs.
Okay.
So and then another thing is so one of the mobile gigs that we had, because at that time we used to just play hip hop and high energy.
Okay.
So that's all we had, right?
Yeah.
And this girl, she booked me for like a house party, and we get there and I'm just playing hip hop and high energy, but like the family wants Mexican music. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I don't got no Mexican music. The girl's like, you know, I'm thinking they're gonna kick my ass or something, you know, but they weren't. But you know, they're like, hey, what's up? Play some Mexican. What you got? You know, I'm like, I don't got nothing. So I was all scared at the time. You know, we're only like 15 or something.
Damn.
And so I called my dad and I go, hey, bring your tapes, because my dad would like, just like his dad. You know, we had big music collection. You know, records, tapes, and he just had tapes, and we used to take our tape deck with us at that time. And he just brought his tapes and he saved the day. He saved the party. They were like, yeah, we love this music. So what actually that happened is it gave my dad that itch. He's like, I want to do this again.
Oh, wow.
Like, they paid you guys? We're like, yeah, they paid us. We're like, what's up? So he was like our ride. So my dad was our ride. He basically became... You know, because we didn't have licenses, we didn't have cars, you know. So, but it was cool because he invested in us.
Yeah.
So he's like, so what do you guys need, like, to get stuff? Because at first we were taking his stuff,
Right.
his turntables, his speakers, his, you know, receiver, whatever. And same thing with JoJo. We would kind of like put like a little Frankenstein setup together and make it work.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was just house speakers, you know
Yeah,
what
it
I
was just
mean?
house
Like,
speakers.
hey, would you get your parents? Yeah, I got mine too. All right, cool.
Let's go,
You know what I
let's
mean?
go.
We'd just stack them on top of each other, you know? So,
So my pops ended up we ended up buying actual DJ speakers, like used ones, and we bought an amp, and then we just kind of started buying things, just little at a time. But it was never like, I'm buying this for you. It was like, you're paying me back for this stuff.
Oh wow! So he taught you responsibility too.
Oh yeah,
Not like giving it to you.
Yeah, no,
Like, he helped you.
He helped us. He invested in us, but he's like, I got to get my money back first. You know, you know, so
It's like you earned it. You worked for it.
oh yeah,
like,
yeah, we
thing.
definitely earned all that stuff,
Yeah.
and all that stuff paid for itself like tenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
That was pretty smart by your dad though, because a lot of times parents will want to give their kids everything or stuff like they didn't have, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he taught you the value of money and earning stuff, but he did help you. You know what I mean? Because if it weren't for your dad's, putting the money up to invest in you, you probably would have had a different path, right?
Right,
but
right.
Yeah, but then he also taught you like, hey, now you got to pay me back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I mean, that's as far as like the start of like our mobile business at that time, which like Jojo was saying earlier, or Tempo was saying earlier, you had to learn these crowds. You can't just go and play what you want, right? Because that's what I thought, right? I took my energy. Oh, we need a DJ. Yeah, I took my energy, my hip hop, and they wanted Mexican music.
Yeah, and you're like, oh.
And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I got to be diverse. Oh, okay. So we had to learn how to play for different crowds. You know, you learn how to play for the young guys, the older people, and you kind of give everybody what they want. So now it's easy for us. We can kind of just, it's almost like natural.
Is that the first thing that you guys think about? Like, what does the crowd look like? Or
yeah, I mean, we're always
age?
checking the crowd. Yeah. You have to. You have to know your crowd. If, you know what they want.
You try something, and then if that's not working, you're like, all right, let me see if I can flip it up. Something else to where I'm gonna get some people on the dance floor. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes you're playing all the hitters.
Yeah.
Every song, and you're like, no one's dancing.
Yeah.
Sometimes alcohol's the case. There's no alcohol at a party, so no one wants to dance.
I was all embarrassed.
So it's sometimes it's not the DJ or whatever, but most of the time what you want to do is just keep flipping, like, okay, this ain't working, let's try something else, see if we can get them. And eventually you're gonna realize, like, okay, it's not me, maybe it's just the crowd, and there's some parties that are like that, where you just go and no one dances the whole time, and you're like, I just played hella good at, good music, like, I know it's not me, because there's a lot of people that would go and dance to that music, but people just want to just hang out and listen to beats,
Yeah. Well, hey, they just want to hear the music, and you guys get paid, so there you go, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So, what was like? Do you guys have a crazy story from your first years of mobile DJing? Like a funny story, something that happened?
And can you explain what mobile DJing is?
Oh, mobile DJing.
Like doing house parties, Sweet 16s, anything that's like a event that where we have to take like our equipment.
Oh, that's mobile.
So
DJing.
Where you take your own equipment to like a house or a hall that somebody rented. Because right now when we go to clubs, everything's already there. So
Right.
You either bring your laptop or your now USB stick or whatever.
Or back in the day, your actual LPs,
records.
records.
Thank you for answering that. I'm sure I'm not the only one in the world that doesn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the crate lugging days. When I first started hanging out with DJs was Arturo back when I was like 16.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my mentors. He's one of our mentors.
And, that was part of your job if you're kicking it with Arturo and you want to go to his gigs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm holding this so you can get in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he actually needed the help. That was the thing, because he couldn't take all that stuff on his own.
Yeah, and that was heavy, too. Those crates were
heavy.
Yeah, to go to a gig, we would take about like 4 to 6 crates
at
of
least
records.
4 to 6 crates
you
of
know
records,
what I mean?
bro.
And not using them all, but knowing that we
You
have
just
enough.
have to take everything, because you never know. Somebody might want something, and it always happens, dude. I would always like go through my records. Okay, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this, and then I'll be like, I'm not gonna take that one.
Yeah.
And then when I get there, someone's like,
Yeah.
Hey, can you play that one? I'm like, damn, dude, I left that one at the house.
Just brought it.
So then that's what happens. You end up starting to bring everything because you're like, somebody might ask for it.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready.
So it was like heavy labor back then.
Oh, yeah.
Because now
A
people
lot
just
of
bring
heavy labor.
laptops
Just
and
laptops.
the little
Yeah, the-
turntable
yeah, the
thing,
little-
Yeah.
right?
Or the little USB
USB.
stick.
Right,
It's like
right.
you just
Yeah,
slide it
Minimal.
in there and
Yeah.
you got your 10 crates in one little stick.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did Funklab start, or how did that start?
Funklab was in our actual buddy's garage.
Okay.
And like one of our other buddies like graffitied it all up.
Uh-huh.
And then on the actual door, he put Funklab. And
So it was like an actual place.
Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Funk Lab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was his like little, it was
was his
his room.
room.
Yeah. It was his
Yeah,
room in the
his
garage.
room in the garage.
Because his mom kicked him out of the house.
Yeah. She's like, you got your room in the garage.
Yeah, your room's in
Yeah.
the garage now. So and he was like the older homie.
Yeah.
So he actually went and bought like the good turntables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. He had the money.
yeah, he had,
He had
the
a
money.
job.
Yeah, he bought his
Well,
turntables.
actually, he actually, so all like I'm saying, we're all neighbors. One of the other neighbors gave him like a book of cards. Like he was leaving. This guy was like leaving on his like a mission. He was like, I don't need this stuff. Here's a bunch of cards. There was like Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth.
So like sports cards.
yeah,
sports
sports
cards.
cards. Yeah.
You know those are blowing up now.
Oh,
yeah.
man. So he actually sold a few of those to
get the
get
DJ.
turntables.
yeah,
wow.
to get the
Yeah.
turntables.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, I mean,
so
like-
Mickey Mantle started you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mickey Mantle, Will
basically.
Chamberlain.
Yeah.
I forgot who else.
Yeah, it was a book of just like all these sports cards, man. And it's like crazy, you know. The guy was just like, yeah, I don't like, dude, you could have sold those and went on your mission.
Yeah.
You know, but he was just like a cool like hippie dude, and he was like,
Yeah, I need to find one of those.
yeah,
If
no,
anybody has
Force
old
it.
cards they just want to give away, just hit me up, right? Send us an email, all right?
yeah.
That's
So
cool.
he, you know, that's how he created like that whole little thing in his room, and like
Funk
we
Lab.
said,
So
yeah,
basically, Funk Lab is two crews that kind of combined. Because those guys, they were like 2 years older than us. And so, you know how it is, like, we were cool to kick it, but not really. Like, we kind of bugged them a little bit, but they
You guys
still
are
let
younger,
us hang
yeah.
out just because they were like, you know what? All right, we'll let you guys hang out with us.
well, because they were already in high school, and we're
Yeah,
still in
junior
junior
high.
high.
Gotcha,
You
yeah.
know,
But
so
like Kenny, well, my boy's name's Kenny, and like I grew up with him. Like me and him were like
Yeah.
you know best friends, even though he was older than me. I was going on trips with him and his parents to Reno and all that. So he's always had like that love for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're my little brother, bro. You know.
That's
So
awesome.
we've always just like fuck it, let's go over there, bro. You know.
So
like,
we would take our crate. We would walk from my house or his house with this big old crate, lugging it down the street, you know, just so we
Neighbor's
could go and mix.
Yeah.
You know, throw down a mix. And
Yeah.
then they didn't really like that music.
Yeah.
They didn't like high energy because they were
Yeah,
all
they're
hip hop
hip-hop.
guys. You
Yeah.
know, you're talking like mid 90s, you know, Biggie and
Right.
Wu Tang. So they
Yeah.
were like, their crew was called Roughneck.
Roughnecks.
And all they played was like underground hip hop.
Right.
You know, that real New York
Yeah.
style hip hop from the 90s, you
Yeah.
know, the good stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, of course, we liked it too because, you know, we liked that stuff, but we also were into the high energy
Yeah.
dance
Dance.
stuff because that was more for the girls.
You guys were into like the modern scene,
the
like
modern
club,
stuff, yeah.
party
The
stuff,
party crews
stuff, the
and
party
all that.
crews,
Not
the
the
Writer
get shot at
magazines,
party. It's
exactly,
get meet a girl
exactly.
party.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because those are my favorite parties.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. But so what I'm learning is that you guys had the neighborhood, like
Yeah.
something that doesn't exist in this area anymore is the neighborhood,
Right.
Yeah.
where
It was-
everybody kind of knew each other. You guys all grew up together.
Yeah.
It was literally like every 2 to 3 houses someone lived. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
So
and-
like
and
my cousins and my grandma and them, they lived like
cross street.
across the street, like 2 houses down. Kenny, he lived like four houses down around the block.
And then Chico lived.
Chico lived like
3
4 houses down from
4
there.
houses.
This
And then I
JoJo lived, or Tempo lived about
like
4
4
houses
houses.
down from there. So it was just like this big circle that like around the block
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
can just go to everybody's house and.
So if you're hungry and you have no food at home,
Oh, yeah.
Go to his grandma's house.
Oh yeah, my grandma always had the fresh tortillas
everything.
and the fresh beans. You know, like
always open. You know, doors were always open to come eat over there.
Yeah.
And then it was like cool too because his cousins ended up getting equipment too in the garage. So it was like every house now. We all had, equipment in everyone's garage.
Yeah, so we would just kind of bounce around. We would take records over here. We would take our records and we would make tapes and we would kind of overstay our welcome at everybody's house. My grandma would get mad and she'd be like, okay, we're going over here. We're going to Kenny's. Kenny's mom would get mad. Okay, we're going to Chico's.
Say banging on the wall. Boom, boom, boom. Like, all right, let's go. It's great. Let's go.
Time to go.
Yeah.
it's for the love of music.
Yeah.
Well, and they didn't really kick us out or anything because they knew we were staying off the streets because the gangs were still there.
Yeah.
Those guys were still right there.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like safe in our little bubbles making music and doing our little things.
Yeah.
That was like a safe haven
Yeah,
for you guys.
it really
That's
was.
awesome.
It really was.
Yeah.
It saved us from
It was
the
like
streets.
sports.
Yeah.
It
It was your
sports.
sport.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was our sport. Yeah,
Yeah, that's your sport.
that's what it
Yeah.
was.
You know what I mean? And because that's what keeps kids out of trouble is extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
'Cause
Exactly.
if you guys didn't have music, you would have nothing else to do but get involved in
The gangs.
trouble.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, when did you guys get your own equipment? How old were you guys when you got your own stuff?
Well, like I said, my dad invested in us,
Okay.
and we bought those speakers, and then, by this time, we had like our own jobs. I worked at a gas station, and then JoJo worked at this other place.
Yeah, I was working for a door company with
I
my
was working
dad.
for a door company.
So we were making money.
Yeah,
This
we were
is like
making-
17, 18-ish
Yeah,
already,
okay.
Yeah.
And, like we just all started like, you know what, we need to start buying our own equipment now, you
Yeah.
know, and
Investing.
investing. Yeah.
And then we were always buying music, and then records are expensive. They weren't
Yeah.
cheap,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Like a single,
$11,
well,
$12.
yeah, like a
And
single.
this is in the 90s. That was
Yeah.
like $20-$30 today.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah. The there were always in two categories: the domestic, and those were like $5 to $8, and then you had the imports, which were like 10 to 12, sometimes 15.
Yeah.
depending on where they came from, England or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Just that, and you're buying it just for that, like one track.
One little
Yeah.
track
You know
that
what I
was
mean?
like
You're
3
like,
minutes
"Ah."
long, 12
Like,
bucks.
do I buy it for $15?
Yeah.
Like,
For 15 seconds?
Yeah, you know what I mean. But,
You're like, you better like this. Is $1 a second. you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
So it's like a whole album, like one.
No,
No,
just literally one
Just
song.
track. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, it'll be like 4 songs in
Okay.
one LP or
Got it,
whatever,
got
but it's just, you're just buying it for that one
The one
song.
that you like, you know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
one
Like,
song that
this
you
one's
like.
going to get the crowd going, you know?
Now I have Spotify. I create playlists
There-
and pick
there
the
you
songs
go.
that
Yeah.
I like.
Oh, I
Everyone's
know.
so spoiled with music now.
Yeah.
right?
I know, man.
You used to have to buy the whole tape or the whole record, and you only like one
Yeah.
song.
Well, remember
Yeah.
they used to have the singles too, the
Sometimes,
cassette
yeah.
singles,
Yeah.
but then sometimes they wouldn't have those tracks
Yeah.
on singles, so you have
Yeah.
to buy the whole
Yeah.
cassette.
It's-
Let me
it's-
ask you guys this: was there like a particular song that you guys like, like you guys fell in love and made you realize, okay, we're gonna go DJ? Was there one song that did it for you guys?
Actually, the one song that still follows me is actually called "Follow Me." Like,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
JoJo's.
like-
like that's like
Yeah,
my
that's
song.
DJ
that,
Tempo's.
everyone
Yeah.
like knows when like either I play it or
Yeah.
that song plays. Everyone's like Tempo.
Yeah,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Because like that song is always just like stuck with me, and the lyrics
Yeah.
are good with it. If you guys
Yeah.
ever get a chance to.
Who is it by?
Alias, it's ALY-US.
I know I've heard that song a billion
Oh,
times,
yeah.
but I've only heard about 15 seconds of it a billion times. I don't think I've ever heard the whole song.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
But
man.
it's
Yeah.
always like DJs playing it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I mean,
Nice.
there's a good message in it, and
Okay.
it just talks about to follow you, and he sing, the vocal that's with it, it goes good, with the rhythm,
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, it's a
So,
good song.
Yeah.
So it's funny because you guys have probably listened to thousands
Oh my
of,
god,
of
bro!
songs.
Oh yeah.
So much
And
music.
it's in your head, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because the DJ has to know like the entire song basically.
Yeah.
Because you got to know when to
When
come
to
in, when to
mix, yeah.
mix, all that.
Mhm.
So how many songs do you guys think you've listened to in your
Oh
life?
my god, bro! I couldn't even think about
Yeah.
how many it is, bro.
Yeah.
Because so we started off with tapes and CDs, then we got to records. Now we're on MP3s.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got that wide of a...
Yeah.
Like I could probably literally hit play on my laptop and come back in like 2 months and it'll still be playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Wow.
how much
Yeah.
how much music I have.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when did you guys start to like really, or is there a way that you select a song, or you just kind of listen to the whole thing and you go, this is a hit, or how did you guys pick up
Just
that?
everyone had like their different style. J-Funk, I mean, we all kind of played house music.
Right.
You know, funky, disco, vocal, like we all had that same flavor.
Right.
But you know, like our selection was a little different. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We didn't want to be like
Yeah.
playing the same thing, you know. So we always like now which one's that? And then like in his headphone while we're at the record store, he's like, oh, and you're
Yeah.
like, you fucker.
You had to you had to almost be a poker face, like, nah, this was so
Yeah.
over here. You're like, yeah, put it away, you know, because you know you didn't want these guys to. Because in a way, there was still like a healthy competition between us, even if we were like partners and we're together, we were still a little bit competitive.
Yeah.
You know, because these guys are jock, these guys are sports guys, so they were like
The Funklab. you're talking
the
about,
Funklab, you know.
So the hip hop crew and you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so we kind of had to compete like with ourselves and each other a little bit because we were always trying to one up each other because in a way we're still b-boys, you know,
Right.
we're hip hop,
Yeah.
you know, so that's like the spirit of hip hop. You know, whether it's b-boying, DJing, graffiti, emceeing, like, you know, you're battling when you're emceeing, you know, you want to be a better rapper, you want to be the most up graffiti writer, you want to be the best DJ that's the best tracks that nobody else has, you know, the b-boy with the best dance moves, you know, who can out rock everybody.
Right.
So that spirit was still in us.
Yeah.
You know, so and it wasn't like, oh, I think I'm better than you or you're better than me, but it just made us better in general for the whole thing.
Yeah. They say competition drives performance.
Right.
Because if you had
Right.
nobody to compete with, you would get kind of like lazy, lackadaisical. You wouldn't have to improve. But if you're always competing, you're always having to get better because you
One
want
up.
one up.
You want
yeah.
Yep.
You want to one up. You want to one up.
It's like
So-
you guys are drawing inspiration from one another.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
how you said healthy competition.
Yes. No, it always was because at the end of the day, you know, we would share our records like, hey, I'll trade you that one. Let me get that one. And then I would play that one now for a little bit and to another crowd that maybe, you know, sometimes we would have gigs on the same days and we couldn't be at, so.
Playing the same music.
Playing the same music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And it did. There was a big level of like skill and competition back in those days because, like you said, San Jose was like a city, and everyone was kind of just basically competing against each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like maybe how many record stores were there back then in San Jose?
I mean, you had
Solid
Upstairs
Grooves.
Records.
Oh well, there was before that Star
Records, Upstairs Records, Solid Grooves.
Solid Grooves.
I mean, and those were like probably the ones where like all
That
the
were around,
DJ,
yeah.
like the DJ ones.
Yeah. So there's three.
There's
that
three.
all
Yeah.
the DJs went to get their
Yes.
music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like you said, whoever got it first, like you didn't
Yeah.
want to copy that guy.
Yes.
So it was like,
And then sometimes they would only buy like 4 or 5 copies of
Yeah.
one record.
yeah. There
Yeah.
you go.
So if you didn't get it, you didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
So the one that had the hit song,
Yeah.
that was the one that everybody
Yeah.
wanted to play,
That was
right?
the one. That was exactly it.
So when did you guys kind of go from high energy to house music?
Well, that's where the Funklab was kind of created from the 2 crews, the Roughneck, and then the other crew was Delusions.
Okay.
So I guess the reason why we even made up the Delusions was because nobody would book us.
Okay.
So we were just like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Nobody wants to book us. So let's throw our own party.
Right.
So our first party that we ever did was at the Cactus Club. Remember we did that one Delusions at the Cactus Club, which of course nobody came.
Yeah.
You know, it was like
It's
maybe
all right.
like
You guys
5
got
people,
started,
you know.
yeah.
And then our second party was at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
We actually, and by this time we've been working, we've been saving money.
Yeah.
We're like
Out promoting every night even like on our work nights, you know what I mean? Like out there just
Grinding.
doing what we had to do, passing out flyers. We'd buy like 10,000 flyers.
Yep.
Just to be out, you know, putting them on card, everything that we had to do because we knew like, all right, this is our time. that we're gonna try to shine.
Yeah, we were gonna
This
blow
is
it up. We blew it up.
Like, you know,
We
we
blew it
have
up.
we have to do this. You know, no one's giving us a chance.
That was pre-social media.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
at all.
It was hand to hand. Come to
Yeah.
our party.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that because
That was the
I used to be
invite.
a promoter.
Yeah.
I used to promote for Mauricio.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
Hollywood
Oh yeah,
Junction?
actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well, that was
yeah.
one of the guys that didn't want to book
Yeah.
us.
Oh really?
Well, we're cool now, but
Yeah,
you know how it goes.
Yeah, I
you
know how it goes. Yeah.
It's all healthy competition because
Yeah,
he
for
had
sure.
his guys that
Yeah.
he used to do stuff with. And,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
But you know what? I think it was a blessing in disguise for you guys because it made you create your own thing.
oh yeah, it
that-
made us create our own lane. That's for sure.
And
Yeah.
that gives you independence too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like someone that's always being booked, they're dependent on that person booking. And what
Right.
if that person goes,
Right.
I don't want you no more.
Right.
And they never learn how to do it on their own. They're
Right.
just like, and what do I do? You know what I mean?
Right,
Where you
right.
guys are like, well, it doesn't matter. we
that-
just figured it out.
And that's the thing, like, why we're still here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because there's been so many DJs that have done that, and then, like you're saying, you know, after no one else is booking them, they fall off.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not around no more. And like for us, it's like we continue to grind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even like for the pandemic, when the pandemic fell off, we were like on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to get it out, and then Instagram would kick us off.
Yeah.
So we're like going on Facebook, you know, and Facebook would kick us out. Now we're like, all right, let's do Twitch, you know, because
Yeah.
Twitch is supposed to be a little better where they'll let your live play, but like if you do your replay, they'll mute some of your songs due to like copyrights or whatever.
Gotcha.
But during the live, you can actually get through it.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, all right, well, let's try this. You
They
know
won't
what I mean?
kick you off.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't kick you off.
Instagram and Facebook, they'll kick you
yeah,
off.
that's a big issue with the copyright thing, right? Yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, you guys are just DJs.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
at a party, it doesn't matter.
We're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
and we don't even ask for money either because there's a lot of people that'll be like, hit the Cash App, blah blah blah. We're just like, we don't care.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just playing.
We
you
just
know,
wanna play music.
Play
You do it
music
for the
you
love of
guys.
music,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
That's it.
I mean,
For the love of music and then for our fans because our fans really want to see us.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
You know?
And that's powerful because not only that, you guys built a following where maybe the following was the club.
Yeah.
And you know, in San Jose,
Right,
clubs
right.
don't last very
Oh,
long.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
They just get
Yeah.
recycled basically.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah.
But if the club is gone, then the DJ lost their crowd
Yeah.
because the crowd was a
Right.
crowd. And you guys
Right.
had to build a grassroots movement
Right.
for years,
Yeah.
like hustling, personal, all that.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, Tempo, like you're still here 30 years later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So talk about Funklab today, like 2021. What are you guys doing? Where do you want to take it?
I mean, basically, you know, like we got the shirts, you know, we want to brand it now.
Okay.
You know, we want to make it a brand and push it, you know, and do clothing and, you know, this guy makes music. So we want to do the whole thing, you know, a label and everything, you know, that we can go with it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're saying. Like, you know, we got the shirt cutter. So now we can, you know, try to do everything on ourselves that we've been always going to other people to do, you know,
Right.
throughout the years. We're now we're like, let's do it ourselves, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why keep, you know, I mean, of course, you know, we can still go to other people to get other things, but if we can do it ourselves, why not do it?
Yeah.
I like
know?
how you guys just don't wait any longer. Like
Yeah.
if people are not opening the door, you're gonna create your own door.
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
Your own lane.
I think that was advice that we got from somebody. I forgot who it was, and we're like, man, bro, no one's booking us, man. What do we got to do? We're out here grinding. We're giving out our tapes. We're doing our, and they're like, well, if no one's booking you, bro, you're gonna have to throw your own parties.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, well, dang, I get. Oh, okay, then
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we got to do then.
Yeah.
Gotta do our own parties.
So when did you guys, besides the house, when did you guys' parties really start to go off?
Well, I think that first
So the
that
Boogie Wonderland.
the Boogie Wonderland, which is pretty much our first official
Was it
one because
2000 or 98?
no, it was like 98.
98.
Yeah, it was like 98.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
We threw it at the fairgrounds.
It was at the
and
fairgrounds.
We had like what, 800, close to 1,000.
almost 1,000 people. It was like one of
Yeah.
the smaller halls, like in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, we went to every high school, college. Dude, we would go the whole Bay. I mean, we took it everywhere, dude.
Right.
And then, you know, not like how like on social media, you could see how many likes you got,
Yeah.
how many people are, you know, will say we're coming to the event, you know.
Yeah.
Back then we had no clue.
No
There was
clue.
no way of us knowing if anybody was going to come. I mean, we're setting up at the day of the party, and we still don't know if people are gonna come.
Yeah.
Do
We
you
don't
like
know.
that surprise though?
I mean, it was hectic. I mean, because we don't
And
know.
because it's a whole day thing. You know what I mean? You're there early. You're setting up equipment. You're setting up, visuals. You're everything. You know, you're making
the
party.
lights.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing everything for the party, and then time come for the event to start. You're like,
I just
people
remember,
gotta come. And little, for of course all your family and friends come first. So
Yeah.
you're like, all right, go.
and those are the non-paying people.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Right? Those
Yeah.
are the people
Those
that
are
don't
just to make
pay,
it look
right? Yeah,
like-
just to make it look like there's people there.
And then like next thing you know is like quarter full.
You just start seeing
And then
people
people
coming.
coming downtown,
You start
there's a
seeing
line. We
people
got a
coming.
line, and we're like, all right, dude, it's cracking.
Yeah, we got a line,
and at the same
bro.
time, we're still like, we're running it. We're
This guy
doing-
needs water. Oh,
Yeah.
we ran out of money.
We're-
We ran out of change. Like
Yeah,
we don't know
like
these
we're,
things.
Yeah, we're still in
'Cause-
control of like the whole party, and we still got a DJ, So
Jeez.
yeah, it was real hectic, but we got through it. It was our first event, and then from there we just kept continuing throwing events. We're like, let's do it. So from that event, we just recycled the money and just kept throwing events. Finding spots. We would find locations that would because back then the parties everyone liked going to like 3 or 4 in the morning,
Right.
5 in the morning. So
Yeah,
if you
before
threw,
San Jose got kind of weird.
if you threw a party like that, everyone loved it.
Yeah, after
So
hours.
that was our thing. Like, let's find a spot where we can just go
So
renegade.
you guys became like the kings of after hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were doing.
we
Yeah,
were.
Jose.
We were doing a lot of stuff with Arturo too.
Yeah.
We were DJing over at that. I don't know if you remember 301 Stockton. Do you
Yeah, I
remember
remember
that
that.
that
Yeah.
by
spot?
the arena
Yeah.
back there.
And back then,
Yeah.
I mean, that area was like a known like gay tranny area,
Yeah.
like where that was their area,
Yeah.
like because it was hidden in the bag. Nobody really messed with them.
Yeah.
Like we don't want no one.
Right,
coming
and
out.
then that 301 Stockton place was ran by like trannies, so like we would invite our homies to come, and they're like, "Dude, what the heck is this?"
Is this in San Jose?
Yeah.
this is sounds, and this is like what late 90s,
Yeah.
early
90s.
2000s,
Yeah.
in that time frame.
Yeah, I remember also too. So when Hollywood Junction kind of started to go away, they started opening Groovy Sundays, and that was
Right.
at Hamburger Mary's.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And it was,
yeah,
It was just kind
exactly.
of this transition. It was funny.
Thank you for tuning in. That was the end of part 1. Part 2 comes out next Monday, 9 a.m. Please stay tuned.
Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when the next one comes out.